Rivalries are the lifeblood of hockey.
The volume level in the building definitely goes up.
I love going into hostile territory.
Rivalry, pure and simple, is hatred.
It's so intense, so passionate.
It starts for me when the plane lands.
The fans are that much louder.
It instantly hits you.
It's the third straight year they've met in the postseason.
I think anytime you play a team that many times in the playoffs, animosity builds up.
It's been a long, brewing rivalry. Everything's earned, nothing's given.
Alex Ovechkin and Brandon Dubinsky are throwing it.
You really grow a hate for that team.
We hate them, they hate us.
One team is an NHL Original Six. The other, born out of expansion in 1974. But they shared a common bond for 15 years, Patrick Division rivals.
Rangers Capitals, this is not about the financial capital versus the national capital. This is about hockey, and this is about playoff hockey.
When the teams met for the first time in the playoffs, the underdog Rangers shocked the heavily favored Caps.
And puck almost given away to Brook. Brook recovers, shoots, score! Score! The Rangers win!
We just had something going. We weren't as good as them, but it was one of those things in the playoffs where you just have this feeling that you might be able to beat them.
The Rangers will win! There is joy in Rangerland.
It was just another one of those times where to get over the hump in a year that we were the better team, it was hugely disappointing.
Phil Esposito has done it again, what appears to be another excellent trade.
8 months later, the two rivals announced a blockbuster deal that would alter the direction of the two franchises.
The Rangers acquiring center Bobby Carpenter from Washington.
Bobby had gone sideways a little bit with the team and the coach, and as the manager, I basically said that we'll make a trade.
When he demanded to be traded, it was a major event in the NHL.
Bobby Carpenter was supposed to be the key in that trade, and a guy that was just a couple of years coming off a 50-goal season in Washington.
We got what we thought was a 50-goal scorer, but he hadn't been playing, he hadn't been practicing, he was rusty.
The Rangers have given up Mike Ridley along with Kelly Miller.
You lose a guy like Bobby Carpenter, a slick goal scorer, and you thought, wow, how's that team going to do it? But these two guys, they came in, and the sum of their parts, they were greater than Bobby.
Mike Ridley went on and had a 40-goal season in the first or second year. Kelly Miller went on to play 13 years with the Washington Capitals.
The trade really helped Washington and was not good for the Rangers. I think I think Bobby got traded about a month or two later.
Turned out to be just really one of the most lopsided trades in NHL history.
While Ridley and Miller became cornerstones of the Caps franchise when they met their former team in the 1990 playoffs, an unexpected teammate emerged as a postseason hero.
The NHL playoffs are about the unexpected. And in recent NHL history, nothing has been more unexpected than John Druce against the Rangers for the Capitals in 1990.
They score! John Druce tips it in.
I remember the headline, Druce on the loose.
It was Druce on the loose.
Druce to the rebound, he scores! John Druce has scored again.
It was phenomenal watching what had transpired in a really short period of time. It seemed like every time he touched the puck, it would go in the net.
And how many people across the country picked John Druce in their playoff pool?
The kid was just on fire. We couldn't keep him on the ice enough.
Burns, centers, and a shot, and a goal! The Caps are the Patrick Division champions!
It's a dream come true, to get in there and score the goals that I scored, and then all of a sudden an overtime goal in the most important game of the franchise organization so far.
It was a performance of a lifetime for a journeyman.
The teams met again the following season. Again, the Capitals won in 5. In 1994, the Rangers returned the favor on their way to their first Stanley Cup in 54 years. But this rivalry was about to take a bizarre twist.
Fans getting into it with John Tortorella.
There was no way in the world Tortorella should have engaged a fan.
Tortorella at one point grabbed a stick.
If he wants to flip out and lose his cool on the bench on one of our fans, I mean, we should be taking that fan out for supper.
15 years would pass between playoff meetings until this rivalry was reignited in 2009 and the arrival of two genuine superstars.
Any rivalry needs a villain. It needs a hero.
Ovechkin and Brown! He scored! What a save! Save by Lundqvist!
When you see Lundqvist at his best against Ovechkin at his best, it's pretty special.
He just reads the game so well. He tried to read you, and you know, if you have opportunity to shoot the puck, he's gonna be ready for it.
The power, the strength he has as a player.
He's probably top goalie right now in the league, and you know, it's always a challenge to play against him.
He can shoot from anywhere, and his release is really fast.
The height of the Lundqvist-Ovechkin dynamic came in that 2009 first round.
Ovechkin moving up, crisscrossing, sidestepping a hit. What a move! Ovechkin's in! His chance! Alex Ovechkin!
Ovechkin dominated Game 5 on the ice, but there was also plenty of action on the bench, centered around combustible Rangers coach John Tortorella.
You couldn't quite tell what was going on with the chaos, and you saw him waving a stick, not only throwing a water bottle into the stands, but waving a stick at a fan, and you wondered what was kind of going on.
Fans getting into it with John Tortorella.
I was on the ice and you know, didn't really know what was going on until I looked over and he had done the old water bottle over the glass.
It appeared as though a bottle had been thrown into the bench first, which was not true, as it turned out.
This is not the Three Stooges. You can't squirt somebody with seltzer.
I played for John Tortorella a long time ago, and to see him get unnerved in a playoff series, I was just totally baffled by it, and I couldn't believe that he let himself go.
If he wants to flip out and lose his cool on the bench on one of our fans, I mean, we should be taking that fan out for supper.
Court's going nuts.
The Rangers got beaten pretty bad in that game, but all we wanted to talk about was John Tortorella threw a water bottle and waved a stick at a fan in Washington.
John, what happened between you and the fan?
Oh, ask me a question about the game.
It was clear at that point that the Rangers were a little bit of a distracted team. It became more about John Tortorella than it did about the Rangers.
Did you throw a water bottle though, because they said?
Ask me a question about the game, please.
It was a wild scene, and clearly it was inappropriate. I mean, you know, what can you say? You threw a water bottle at somebody.
Tonight in the NHL, they slapped a suspension, one-game suspension, on Rangers head coach John Tortorella.
With Tortorella watching from a press box perch, assistant Jim Schoenfeld ran the Rangers bench. New York would lose Game 6, setting up a deciding Game 7 in D.C. The score was tied late in the third period.
Here's Fedorov, puts on the break, snaps a shot, he scores! Sergei Fedorov has given the Capitals a 2-1 lead. And the Washington Capitals have won this Game 7. They advance to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
With their season over, Tortorella apologized for his poor behavior.
I made a mistake there. I'm embarrassed that I put the organization in that spot.
When the teams met again 2 seasons later, it was the Capitals coach who this time grabbed all the headlines.
Bruce Boudreau went on radio and had quite a little bit of a controversy, saying that Madison Square Garden wasn't as loud as people made it out to be.
Its reputation is far better than the actual building. The locker rooms are horrible. The benches are horrible. Also, our building's a lot louder, too.
His observation about the Garden not being so loud or, you know, not being an intimidating place to play, it was an accurate observation.
It seemed like they were kind of just, you know, there. They were going through the motions as fans. They weren't really giving the energy the team needed, and I guess our coach pointed that out.
I was just thinking to myself before the game, okay, what are they going to chant? What's coming? What's coming? What's coming?
And the chant from the Ranger faithful is, "Can you hear us?"
And then they started chanting, "Can you hear?" And you could see him on the bench, just leaning against the glass, smiling, because he knew he had lit a fire under the Garden faithful.
The fans took it personally, and they made sure that he heard him.
And that was the loudest I've ever heard a building. It was Madison Square Garden yelling, "Can you hear us?" That was the Rangers' moment where it looked like they were going to make it a series. It would have been a tie series at that point. Instead, Capitals come back tied at 3-3, and then Jason Chimera scored the overtime winner.
Dropped it off for a shot by Chimera that's blocked down and pushed right in on goal and in the net! Stunned silence at Madison Square Garden as the Capitals have gone up 3-1 in the series.
It wasn't the best of days for the Rangers, even though the fans had their moment with the chant, which was pretty cool.
Back in the cozy confines of Verizon Center, the Caps would close out New York in Game 5. Once again, Ovechkin got the best of his superstar counterpart when it mattered the most.
We had the upper hand on that rivalry, but yeah, as we know, things change.
Coming up, a marathon moment.
The Rangers win in the third overtime.
And heartbreak for the Capitals. With the 2011 playoff series fresh in their minds, the teams met again the following year, where their similar styles led to 7 thrilling games.
That 2012 series, whether it was Dale Hunter hockey against John Tortorella, every game was a coin flip.
And a lead pass ahead. A drive by Kretter's goal. Ovechkin shoots, he scores! It's 3-2.
With the series tied, pivotal Game 3 turned into an epic Wednesday night and a thrilling Thursday morning with a 3-overtime game at Verizon Center.
It is a collision sport. It's a 3-on-1. 7 moves in to like in front. Oh, and saved by Lundqvist. Oh, what a hit there by Hendricks on McDonough. More nutrition, more towels, more ice bag, more rest.
Okay, what's it going to take to end this thing?
It just becomes a battle of will right now, doesn't it? Fatigue sets in.
I think I came down the wall, I just put it back down to Richie, passed right in front of Gabby.
Played on by Girardi, batted bound to Richards, centering pass in front, score! It's Gabriel!
The Rangers win in the third overtime.
I know how we felt after the game. We won and we were exhausted. I can only imagine how Washington felt.
When we score, I'm almost too tired to scream. I'm just so happy it's over.
Everyone was kind of just happy to get over with and move on to the next game.
Down but not out, the Capitals regrouped in Game 4 to tie the series. And leading by a goal late in Game 5, they were less than a minute away from taking a 3-2 series lead.
You would think that the Caps had that game wrapped up and pretty much the series is over. Whoever wins that game is going to win the series.
And a penalty coming up here. It's going to be a double minor. I think Hagelin's cut. No question about the high stick of Ward.
Joe Ward takes a high-sticking penalty in the final minute of the game, and it's one of those penalties that you had to call.
We take a 4-minute double minor.
All of a sudden, bang.
It just developed from the face-off. We kind of won it back, tried to get it down. And the puck made its way back to me.
Gibson across Delzato. His shot blocked aside. Finesse move at the front by Callahan. Pumped in with 6.6 to go.
I saw Richie put it in, and it was just kind of chaos. After that, everyone's running around trying to grab each other, and that was a huge goal for us in the series, and that was a very exciting time for all of us.
That is a quarter of a millimeter from going posted out instead of posted in.
Yeah, that was, that's the difference right there, really. I mean, in the whole series.
Tie game and overtime in New York.
The Rangers had momentum. There was a double minor, so you had another power play to start overtime.
Walk on now. Stall a shot.
Seeing Mark score that goal was, amazing. The guys were, flying off the bench, and that was just that was a really big win for us that game.
And that's a lonely skate out of the penalty box for him.
That was devastating, and really, you would have thought that would have crippled the team.
Carlson there, threw one in front, score! It's Chimera, 2-0.
Starts spreading the news. Game 7, New York, Saturday night.
And in the world's most famous arena, it's one of hockey's great spectacles, a playoff Game 7.
Here's a drive, score! It is Richards, and it is 1-0. Another shot, they score! Delzato, 2-zip.
I do believe in our team, and I really thought that series could have went a different way.
2 seconds, 2, 1, that will do it. The New York Rangers are headed to the conference finals. They defeat the Washington Capitals 4 games to 3.
It was one of the best series of that playoff. It was as close as you can get for a series. Unfortunately, we were on the losing end.
Lundqvist was a little bit better than Braden Holtby, and it was enough to get them in the Eastern Conference Final.
You want to get some payback, and you're thinking, this is our, next season we'll get our chance. This is our opportunity to beat them.
The Capitals are going to Broadway, up 3 games to 2.
One save can change the game completely.
Carlson is shot, getting a piece of it, Lundqvist. The Washington Capitals are the 2013 Southeast Division champions.
The last month of the year, we were one of the hotter teams in the league.
There's Callahan moving deep. He shoots. He scores. Rangers win. They're in the playoffs.
It's kind of funny how it ended up. We could have been 5th seed if we won a couple more games, or lower if we lost a few. So it came down right to the wire, and just happened to be that we played them again.
The 3rd straight year they've met in the postseason. The 4th time in the last 5.
No, it's getting weird. Every season it seems like we're facing them in the playoffs.
After taking Game 1, Washington took advantage in a scoreless Game 2 on a mistake by New York's Ryan McDonough in overtime.
The unfortunate penalties are the bad penalties that always seem to, kind of end up in the back of your net.
Ryan McDonough just made a mistake.
Going in there, I was like, this is going to be tough getting out here after 2 minutes.
Makes the drive. Back to Green.
When the media was allowed into the Rangers dressing room after the game, McDonough needed a few more minutes to compose himself.
It's a tough way to lose a game, but it's his best of 7 series, so it just made our hill a little bit higher to climb.
When you have 2 very good teams, one team's going to push, and it's going to happen. The other team is going to push back.
Big hit by Callahan.
Big hit there by Brouwer.
Power play connect.
Mike Green ties it up.
Score! Action!
Jack Hiller ties the game at 3.
Score! Derek Stepan! And the Rangers have recaptured the lead. That's the cross. Score! It is Stepan, and it's 4-2.
The Rangers won't serve at Madison Square Garden.
We were up 2 games to none. We go into New York. They hold serve. They beat us 2 games, so now we're tied up.
Rebound, they score! They score! Mike Romero! The Capitals are going to Broadway! Up 3 games to 2!
Rib scores there, and we're thinking, okay, we just got to win a game.
We saw a Capitals team that said, we're not going to be beaten by the Rangers again.
We know Washington is going home tonight. The question is, are the Rangers going with them?
Game 6 was a really intense game.
Lundqvist with a second chance. Oh, that's going to move in front. A shot and a save made by Henrik Lundqvist. Shot saved by Lundqvist. Rebound Ovechkin, another save.
I remember the last 3-4 minutes was pucks everywhere, players everywhere.
The best save of the night for King Henrik.
Capitals are a shot away from tying this game.
You can see Alex Ovechkin shaking his head in frustration time after time after time coming down the ice.
Carlson is shot, getting a piece of it, Lundqvist.
He was outstanding. Yeah, he played, the best I've ever seen a goalie play in playoffs playing against.
He stood tall. He definitely won Game 6.
And the New York Rangers win it 1-0. This series is going 7.
He was as determined as I've seen him. When they lost a couple of overtime games, he got sick of hearing about his bad overtime record. I think he put them on his back and essentially won Game 6.
Games like that, it's a lot of fun to play when everything is on the line and you manage to win that game.
The game that really killed us was Game 6. That was our closing game.
And look out, we've got a rumble in the corner.
The bad blood at the end of Game 6 fueled the fire even more for Game 7.
And so the drama of Game 7 unfolds here.
Alex Ovechkin had an incredible shift at the start of Game 7, hitting everything in his way.
And Ovechkin
He was hitting everything that moved.
Ryan's probably 215, Ovechkin's 230. So you have to be aware of him physically.
Boy, that's a heavy, heavy hit by Alexander Ovechkin.
I knew he was going to hit me, and I just know how to take it, keep the puck moving. You know, I'll take those hits all day if we end up winning the game.
Now an on-man rush the other way. Dropped off by Kreider. Asham, a shot. He scores! Asham! Taylor Pyatt gives the Rangers a 2-0 lead.
Everyone thinks, okay, we have the home ice advantage in Game 7. We'll take advantage of it. It didn't happen.
Del Zotto fires one, score! 3-0.
Ryan Callahan makes it 4-0.
I think it was one of those games that everything that could have gone bad did and happened, and we got behind the 8 ball, and then it just kind of snowballed.
Scores! Mats Zuccarello! It is now 5-0 Rangers.
And they controlled the game from the first minute to the end, and it was a very frustrating game and disappointing.
If you look back over Game 7s and teams that just didn't seem like they wanted to compete, this was the Washington Capitals.
Henrik Lundqvist with back-to-back shutouts, and the Rangers win the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in 7.
2 must-win games for us, and our best player was our best player.
Lundqvist stood on his head. He was a difference maker, and he won that series for him.
The question with the Caps was going to be, was their goalie going to be able to outplay Henrik Lundqvist? Great hope he didn't.
It has been a hard time for number 8.
It was one of the most deflating losses I've ever seen for a home team, and it started to define this Alex Ovechkin era with the Capitals.
Of all the playoff series that I've watched over the years with the Caps Rangers, that was the one that hurt the most.
Where do you feel that this game got away?
Well, I feel disappointed.
You saw a lot of faces in that locker room, in the Caps locker room. There were these blank stares, like, how did that happen?
It's tough. It's really tough. It's still tough to look at the New York Rangers and know that they beat us when I thought we had the upper hand on them.
Another bitter, hard-fought playoff game between the Rangers and Capitals.
Patrick Division rivals once, Metropolitan Division rivals now. But the battles between these two teams have become an NHL rite of springtime.
We played each other 4 times in the last 5 years. I think it's great for the franchises. I think it's great for hockey. We split the series so far. Hopefully we meet again and we come out on top this time.